Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second part of the second night of the League of Women Voters Candidate Forums. My name is Andy Poley, and I am the president of the local League of Women Voters. I have a few quick reminders and important information before we get started. Mail-in ballots will go out September 25th. You can request a mail-in ballot through October 24th. There will be several secure mail-in ballot drop-off boxes throughout the county if you choose not to mail them. Early voting starts on October 19th. There are 5 locations for early voting throughout the county, the same 5 locations there were for the primary. To learn more about all of the candidates and the 6 amendments on your ballots, you can visit vote411.org. The questions that you'll hear this evening for this particular candidate forum, these candidates had different questions on Vote 411, so you can learn even more about them if you visit the website, and we encourage you to do so. Tonight, we're going to hear from candidates running for St. Lucie County Commission District 3. The format for tonight's forum is much like the format that we've used for all of our forums. There's a 90-second introduction from each candidate, followed by a series of questions. Each candidate receives 2 minutes to answer each of those questions. It rotates back and forth, and the rotation, the order of candidates, was determined by coin toss earlier. If we have time, those of you in our Facebook live chat can pose your own questions, and we'll pose those questions on your behalf to the candidates. And once we reach a certain point in time, about 10 minutes before our time is going to run out at 9:30, so about 9:20, the candidates will then do their closing statements. They each have 2 minutes. Our moderator for this evening is Carol Wyatt, as always. Carol is the co-owner and operator of local radio stations WPSL in Port St. Lucie, WSTU in Stewart, and WJNX in Fort Pierce. She is the president of the WPSL Christmas Kids of St. Lucie County, past president of the Rotary Club of Port St. Lucie, and a member of the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. Carol has many, many years in broadcasting, and she was a reporter in Los Angeles prior to moving here in Florida in 1993. We are, as always, honored to have Carol as our moderator, and so now I'm just going to turn it over to her. Carol?
Thank you, Andy, and welcome to this fourth of this general election League of Women Voters of St. Lucie County Candidate Forum. We thank, as always, the members of the League for developing very good questions for the candidates. We thank both of our candidates for participating this evening, and particularly we thank everyone watching and listening for educating yourselves about the election in what's been a very, and still is a very challenging year. So tonight we will meet the candidates for St. Lucie County Commission District 3. It's a district that covers much of the center of Port St. Lucie. It's a term for 4 years, and it's a county-wide race. All registered voters can select and vote on county commissioners. Our candidates, the incumbent, Linda Bartz, and Christopher Thompson. And as Andy mentioned, by the earlier formality of a coin toss, Christopher Thompson will go first with opening statements.
Thank you, and thank you to the League of Women Voters. These candidate forums are so important because, you know, obviously with the state of affairs in the country with COVID, you know, there's not a lot of forums and events to get our messages out to the people. So thank you so much for the League of Women Voters, and it's people like you that are active at the grassroots level in politics that are so important to our communities. So thank you. My name is Chris Thompson. I'm a father of a husband to a wonderful wife, Angela, a father to 3 daughters, all daughters, and by profession, I'm an attorney. Prior to becoming an attorney, I was an accountant for several years. I have a bachelor's degree in finance, a master's degree in international relations with a focus on trade, and a law degree from Syracuse University. So I currently am a managing partner of my own law firm. And I'll be quick. The three main issues that I'm running on, really simple. If you see me at all on Facebook or online, you'll know what my main issue is. We here in St. Lucie County have the highest tax rate in the state of Florida, property tax rate. It's been acknowledged by the DIES, by the county commission, and by outside groups as well. That's the number one issue for our county right now. It's the big albatross around our county's neck. So Oops. Okay. So number one, I'm running to get our tax rate down in line with our neighboring counties. We're about 28% higher than Martin, 42% higher than Okeechobee, and 48% higher than Indian River. We're way out of line with our neighboring counties. We need to bring that down. The reason we have such high taxes is because the legacy of reckless spending, both the legacy and current reckless spending going on in our county. I'm going to bring that under control, put more money in the pockets of the women voters in this county. Thank you.
Okay, all right. And now opening statement from Linda Bartz. Ms. Bartz? Do we have a mute issue?
Now, can you hear me?
That's
I apologize for that.
We've all done that, yes.
Okay. Good evening. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum. I'm St. Lucie County Commissioner Linda Bartz. I've been your county commissioner for almost 4 years. In that time, I've championed or supported many successes in our county, including the port, the airport expansion, the growth in Southern Groves, Crosstown Parkway, and the Veterans Nursing Home, which is going to open soon. I support job growth with higher paying jobs. I believe in maintaining our infrastructure, our beaches, and our parks with the highest level of service, all while keeping our reserves to support those services even during challenging times. I do this because I've lived here for more than 35 years. I've raised my family here and my granddaughter here, and I want the community to be the best it can be. I'm a proven leader in our community, and I'm endorsed by firefighters, police officers, builders, teachers, and the chamber. They believe in me for a reason. I work hard for you. I volunteer for dozens of organizations and nonprofits in our community, sometimes right alongside some of you. I'm a retired banker, and this is my full-time job. I have the dedication, the commitment, the proven leadership, and the ability to make the tough decisions. You all know me, and you know my ethics and my integrity. I believe that I deserve to keep working for you, to continue the job I've worked so hard for. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, now we will start the questions, and we'll begin with Mr. Thompson. After that, we'll rotate. So first question to Mr. Thompson. St. Lucie County homeowners recently received their annual trim notices, and if the proposed budget changes are accepted, many will see another increase in their property taxes. St. Lucie County already has an average property tax rate higher than 88% of counties in America. What will you do to reduce the tax burden to the citizens?
So that's a great question. I get that question frequently. You know, the hard part is not what I'll do or how to get the tax rate down. The hard part is, you know, what offsets you need. So to address the first part, what will I do? I've already made a commitment in numerous forums that and numerous debates that I will consistently vote every single time to lower taxes if I'm county commissioner until we get our taxes in line with our neighboring counties. Okay. Like I said, we're well above them, 28 to 48% higher than our neighboring counties. So we got a long way to go, but that's number one. Now on the taxation or the where to cut part, a lot of people are screaming Armageddon if we do, let's say a 5% cut, whatever. I don't think that's the case. Port St. Lucie has done huge reductions on their taxes and have not had any kind of Armageddon over the last. I think they've done close to maybe a 15 or 20% reduction from their peak of a few years ago. Armageddon didn't happen. Now, if you're okay, so revenue, your tax revenue is a product of your tax rate times asset values, and typically your home asset value or your home value goes up or goes inversely to the tax rate. If we lower our tax rate, property values will rise, and that'll offset the reduction in taxes. And I think if we reduce taxes at, like I said, maybe a 5% rate annually, we can definitely get those keep the same tax revenue because the home values will go up as a result of it. That's a short answer for the time, but I could go on. Thank you.
Okay, now Linda Bart, same question. What will you do to reduce the tax burden on citizens?
Okay, so we are doing a reduction in millage this year. Taxes have gone down. We have worked hard to reduce our budget, and we have done that by about $20 million this year. We are looking at all different kinds of ways to cut with still maintaining our quality of life. We have worked hard at that. We are bringing in new jobs. We are bringing in people. People are building here consistently. So we're working there. And we are finally at a position that we finished a 5-year plan, which started before my term. We did that last year. So we are financially on a good, solid base with our reserves so that we can move forward and start making more cuts. However, I just have to mention that we are collecting less taxes now than in 2007. And if you look at those trim notices, we are only responsible for the first 6 items. After that, you have fire district, police, cities. So those have elected boards who make those decisions, and we don't control that. So if you look at your total millage, yes, it's higher. But if you look at what the county has control over, it is a much smaller percentage. I want to say about 38% of your total bill. Thank you.
Okay, next question starts with Linda Bartz. COVID-19 has impacted St. Lucie County in many ways. Beginning with the economy, what will you do to help businesses and workers recover from lost revenue, lost wages, lost businesses, and unemployment?
COVID-19 has been tough for everyone. It is really, really sad to see what is happening to our businesses and our residents. We have been fortunate to have received CARES money, and we are in the process working with the EDC and actually getting those applications in and we have started to release the monies to help relieve both our small businesses and our residents. And we will continue to do that. I think the next process is to also start looking at our nonprofits. So again, the county is working hard to get that money out. We have until the end of December to spend it, and we're going to spend it where it's needed.
Okay, same question to Mr. Thompson. What would you do to help businesses and workers recover from their losses of COVID-19?
So I think my answer is going to be much different from Linda. I think she's right. Port St. Lucie has a good fund that's been helping a lot of small business owners in Port St. Lucie. I know a lot of people have benefited from that, as the stimulus money or the PPP, kind of petered out. But now I think, the county, for the county level, those that can't access the Port St. Lucie funds, the county can provide those funds to small businesses. And I think, if you look around Florida, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Broward County have done a lot more to lock down. We haven't done that as much in St. Lucie County, so I think that's a good way that we've helped to keep small businesses alive. Right now, like I said, the only real measures that we have right now, I guess, is the mask mandate. I'm not for the mask mandate personally. I believe that masks are good. I believe the masks are good, but I'm not for mandating those. I don't think that there's a necessity here in St. Lucie County and some of the more areas that are facing coronavirus outbreaks and south of us. It might be a good idea, but not for St. Lucie County. I think getting the money out to the small businesses is the best thing we can do right now for St. Lucie small business owners. Thanks.
Okay, and coming back to Mr. Thompson, next question. The impact of the economy will have long-term effects on our community, and less taxpayer money means less tax revenue. How will you manage the responsibility of a greater need for county services with less money?
So there hasn't, because of COVID, the funny thing about that is that Florida property values, my understanding, has actually benefited because you have a lot of people leaving New York and tri-state area, those places that lock down their economies much more. There's a flood of people, a stampede of people moving down to Florida, specifically South Florida, and so our home values have not suffered like other places in the country. You know, for instance, New York City, I think Manhattan, I heard, is down something like two-thirds of their home values because everyone's leaving the city. But we haven't, and so property taxes, as I said before, or county revenue, is a product of the property tax rate times home values, and so our tax revenues have not been hit that hard by COVID. Now, as I said, businesses are suffering, people are suffering, and I think that a lot of the stimulus money did a good job helping people, but we need to do more. Obviously, the country's still hurting. It's palpable. I mean, you talk to people every day. There's a lot of people that maybe they're not unemployed. There's a lot of people that are unemployed, but maybe a lot of people who are unemployed or maybe doing less hours. If you're a waiter, you're not seeing as many customers come into the restaurant, so people are hurting. But as far as county revenues, I'm not a believer that county revenues have declined. In fact, like I said, a lot of areas' home values have actually increased, and new people moving in resets that cap on. Oh, sorry, the cap on how high your value of your home can rise. So, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Same question to Linda Bartz. How would you manage the responsibility of greater need for county services if there's less money?
So we've been through that before with the recession that went very deep to this point and very long. And that was a tough time. We had to lay off staff. We kept our services. We had to go into our contingencies, but we were able to maintain making the tough decisions. I think we're in a better place now. Our industry has changed. We are bringing in manufacturing. We have a port and an airport, and once they get really to the point that they are up and operating, certainly the port, I believe that we'll see the jobs. The people are moving here at an incredible pace. I know that Port St. Lucie did one of their record days not too long ago and issued 100 new home permits. So people are moving here. We are a wonderful community here. We have so much to offer, and we will continue to offer that quality of life while making everything safe. So thank you.
Okay, next question, now starting with Linda Bartz. The pandemic is not over. We're entering cold and flu season soon, or now. What will you do to protect the health and safety of all of St. Lucie County's residents?
We will continue to work with our local health department. I know they are strongly urging that you go and get your flu shots, that should help. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, sometimes they're changing their message weekly because it was an unknown. And so the scientists didn't have a good handle. They've worked with us over and over again to continue that. But again, listening to the scientists, listening to the numbers, urging people to make sure they're taking care of themselves. We have Cleveland Clinic that is, Cleveland Research and Innovation not the clinic, doing research on dengue fever, some other items like that. So we'll continue to work in that area and make sure that people are washing hands, using sanitizer, all those things we should be doing. But we've reminded people. I know there are times that my hands are really dry from all this, but keep it up. That is your best bet to keep us all safe. Thank you.
And same question, Mr. Thompson, what will you do to protect the health and safety of all the county residents going into cold and flu season?
So, Florida obviously has a different perspective on this season, where the rest of the country will be spending more times indoors. We're all leaving our doors. I don't know about you guys, but July and August, I was glad to stay indoors when it's 100-degree days every day. So, we're actually going to be experiencing more fresh air probably in these next coming months, and being outside more, which is where you're less likely to contract the disease or COVID-19 than our friendly states up north. So I don't see a second wave hitting South Florida like some scientists are predicting up north. As I said, also I'm not for mask mandates. I'm for social distancing. That's fine. I think there's a lot of things that is the difference I see is that government we don't need to have a nanny state. I think people are very responsible right now. Maybe at the beginning, when people didn't know exactly how to approach this disease, there was a need for more mandates and whatnot. But I don't see that as something that's necessary at this point, especially because we've tracked Indian River County almost parallel to theirs on graphs on how COVID has affected our two counties. And since we instituted a mask mandate, there's been almost zero difference between us and Indian River. We've still tracked them almost parallel. So the mask mandate wasn't necessary, just didn't need it, and it's done really nothing to affect the number of cases here in St. Lucie County if you compare apples to apples. So, but yeah, that's my take on it. Thanks.
Next question, coming back to Mr. Thompson. St. Lucie County's infrastructure, being quite old in some areas, is often overwhelmed during heavy rains and hurricanes. That abundance of unmanaged water can have devastating effect on roads, buildings, and other structures, as well as the sewer and drainage system. So what steps will you take to modernize the county's infrastructure that both mitigates the impact of intense weather events and is environmentally responsible?
Good question. I know there's been some talk about what to do about the beaches in St. Lucie County or the residents that live on the island. I don't think that people on the mainland should have to pay for that. So I think that just using assessments is probably the best way to do beach and re-nourishment projects and whatnot. As far as drainage, as far as I know, we don't have a huge flooding problem in St. Lucie County as some other places do. But probably owing to the fact that we have our county has grown in more recent years. I know in hurricanes past, in the beginning of this millennium, there was some issues with roofing damage. But again, a lot of our homes have been built with much stronger codes. So as far as the roads, though, we obviously need some work on the roads. And so one of the last forums we did with the TC Comm, I mentioned that some of the roads we need to definitely finish up Midway. I think Edwards Road probably needs some repairs as well. And sorry, thanks. And there's a lot of roads on the north part of the county near the airport that have a lot of potholes and whatnot. So I'd be for putting some more money to that. But yeah, I think we're doing fine right now as far as flooding and hurricane damage. Again, just because of the fact that we're a relatively new county. So, but again, I'm trying to lower taxes, not raise taxes. So I'm for less spending at the moment. So thanks.
Same question to Linda Bartz. What step would you take to modernize the county's infrastructure to mitigate the impact of water and is environmentally responsible?
We are so lucky that the residents of this county voted for that half-cent sales tax. And that is providing the updates to the roads, the sidewalks, the water issues. So we are moving ahead. Our county is so good about working and applying for grants. We just got a grant to work on Edwards Road. I know there is some confusion on Midway and that intersection of Midway and 25th Street. And there, that is an FDOT project. So there's so many people that say, why doesn't the county get it done? Well, it's not our intersection, so we're not able to, but we have promised our residents that we would follow the guidelines on the half-cent sales tax. We have a citizens advisory board who reviews that and makes sure that we are spending the monies as we said we would. And for those of you in Port St. Lucie, you can see that we spent it on Prima Vista, which was so needed. So thank you.
Okay, coming back, next question to Linda Bartz. St. Lucie County has a very delicate and intricate environment. It's a big part of its appeal to tourists, to the leisure time of residents, and also to the local economy. So what initiatives will you implement to reduce harm to air, water, wildlife, ecological system, while mitigating the inevitable impacts of climate change?
So good question. We are doing some of those things right now. I will tell you that one of the things that I'm proud of that we did in Port St. Lucie to start with water was purchasing McCarty Ranch and doing water farming out there and making sure that that water comes in and is going out as clean water. We are working with the FPUA to try and come to an agreement to move the plant, the sewage plant, off of Seaway Drive, off the island, so that we can make sure that we never have a spillage that will affect our river. So we have many projects going on. Some of them are with our half-cent sales tax. So we continue to move forward. We have a wonderful environmental department who make sure we have parks, we have roadways, we have sidewalks. So again, drainage, I know that we have some areas, but we are working hard on those and working with those residents. Thank you.
Same question, Mr. Thompson. Taking care of the environment while mitigating inevitable impacts of climate change.
So, I mean, you're right. I mean, we do have a delicate environment here in St. Lucie County. The St. Lucie River, my understanding, is one of the most, if not the most biodiverse estuary in North America. We have just a wonderful natural beauty here in the St. Lucie River. I'm for a lot of the things that are being implemented by Brian Mast, our congressman, trying to fix some of the upstream issues that are causing some of the algal blooms that come down our way. And so, you know, Donald Trump, or President Trump, was here, or was in Jupiter just a couple weeks ago, talking about some of the investment that they're making upstream to take care of that. Brian Mast is doing a wonderful job. So I think we need to work more with our congressional leaders to get some of that federal funding to fix those upstream issues. As far as climate change, you were saying, I think I addressed this already, beach erosion. Again, I'm not for taxing people on the mainland to cover that. I think that, you know, those that choose to live on the island should be responsible for any beach erosion that could be threatening their property. So assessments are probably what's needed for those areas. But as far as, yeah, I mean, as far as the mainland, I don't see, again, we don't really have probably owing to the fact that we have the river, the river area, we don't have a huge issue with flooding. So anyway, thanks.
Okay, next question. We'll start with Mr. Thompson. It is a two-part question. How will you attract new businesses to St. Lucie County? Then how would you encourage residents to start their own businesses?
So I'm starting to see a theme in some of these questions, and I think the theme is, what is government going to do for me? And I'm a conservative. I'm a small government conservative. I don't feel that government is responsible for bringing business, right? I think, if one politician tries to say, "Hey, I brought these businesses to St. Lucie County," they're trying to pull a fast one on you. What government officials can do, what politicians can do, is create an environment for business to flourish, create an environment that attracts business. Okay, so what I've talked about already, we have this albatross around our neck, being the highest taxed county in the state of Florida. Okay, we're not number 2, we're not number 3, we're number 1, and this is given the fact that we are below average for income, for per capita income in the state. I think we're 1 or 2 spots below the median. So yes, the conditions that we need to do is lower our taxes dramatically over time. And because again, we're 25 to 48% higher than our neighboring counties. And the interesting thing is spending too. While Martin County is the second wealthiest county in Florida, they actually spend less per capita than we do. Okay, so this is an issue that our leaders on the board of county commissioners are just have a tax and spend problem. Okay, they tax us, that hurts business, and then they go and say, hey, we can't attract business, we can't attract more revenue, we got to tax even more. And then they spend on projects like the port, which are just more boondoggles that are just money pits for our county. So yeah, no, I think that we can create conditions, but I'm of the, I guess, the humble attitude that I don't feel that I can bring business to our county. That's small business does that. Entrepreneurs do that. We just create the conditions for them to flourish. Thank you.
Okay, to Linda Bartz, same question, 2-part question. How would you attract new business, and how would you encourage residents to start their own?
We are very fortunate that over the last couple of years, we have had new businesses growing here. We have tried to cut the red tape. We will continue that. We have public-private partnerships to look at our processes, our permitting, to see where we can cut red tape when needed. We have had a couple of businesses who were talking about leaving and ended up staying in Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce, the county, and grew their businesses, grew their employees and their wages. So we also have Oculus out in Tradition. They're working on Southern Groves. So we are attracting business. Again, the small business, Port St. Lucie has a great education piece where they bring them in to show them what they're facing, what it's going to cost them, how it works, who they need to talk to. And now the Chamber of Commerce is doing as well. So we need to make ourselves as inviting as we can. But the fact is people are coming here, people are opening businesses here, and we are increasing not only the business, but the salaries. Thank you.
Okay, coming back, next question, start with Linda Bartz. Federal and state Congresses pass a lot of laws that impact local communities. These laws do not necessarily take into consideration the specific needs and the circumstances of cities and counties. The Home Rule grants control to local governments to govern their own area, but it is often under attack at the state level. Do you agree with Home Rule? And if so, how will you defend it? If not, why?
That's an interesting question, because I have been fighting for Home Rule for, I will say, many years. We have gone up, we continue to talk to our legislators, we continue to try and make them realize that we are different. And every county is different and has different needs. So to have people in Tallahassee, the legislator, tell us what is going to work for us and what is going to be the best way to work is not always right. We're not Miami. We're not Fort Lauderdale. We're not Tallahassee. We are not a lot of small cities. So again, I think that our people in this community should be looking at what is good for our community. So thank you. I absolutely believe in it.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, same question. Do you agree with home rule? And if so, how will you defend it? If not, why?
Absolutely. So I'm a small government conservative, constitutional conservative. I believe that government needs to guarantee constitutional rights, and pretty much everything else should be left up to the states and to local governments. Besides, of course, military. But yeah, no, I think that anytime that you can, give power back to the local level is better. Now, I do believe, though, that home rule should not trump constitutional rights. So, for instance, I don't believe that it should be up to a community on whether or not to get rid of your Second Amendment right. I would not be, if St. Lucie said you can't own guns in St. Lucie County, while that would be a local law, the exception is that I would not support that because it would be an infringement on constitutional rights. But anything that's not in the Constitution, so for instance, the Bill of Rights, it says that any power not delegated to the federal government should be given to the states. I believe that's same idea should pass on the local level. That any right not in the Florida Constitution given to the state government should be given to local governments to have a say in. But again, but home rule cannot trump state constitution or federal constitutional rights. So that's my take on it. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Let's just check if we have any questions from our audience. And if not, we go to closing statements.
Hold on. Sorry. I'm slowpoke on my questions today.
Hey,
I apologize. I'm about to drop one in for you. Just when you thought we were almost done.
Okay.
Let's see. Did that one come? Okay. I
This will
think.
be coming from
Yep,
Facebook
it's going to
Live.
come in just a second. All right.
And of course, we have, as Andy's been mentioning, there are a lot of dates coming up. For early voting is October 19th. Also the mail-in ballots are mailed out on this Friday. You're asked to send them back at least 7 to 10 days before the election. Okay, let us go to our live Facebook Live question. We cannot keep comparing St. Lucie County to Okeechobee, Martin, and Indian River County. We are almost double in population and have a double increase in services with the Sheriff's Office and Fire District. What is specifically that can cut taxes without hurting the way of life, taking into account the history of our housing market, which has more to do with why we're in the situation we're in? St. Johns County is the wealthiest in Florida. Okay, I think the question is we're different, and how can we cut taxes without hurting way of life? I think we would be coming back to Mr. Thompson.
So not sure I agree with the assumptions. There was a lot of assumptions put in there that I don't necessarily agree with. It doesn't matter that we're double the population in these places because we're higher than counties that are bigger than us as well, much higher. We're higher than Miami-Dade County. We're higher than Broward County. We're higher than Palm Beach County. Tax rates are a percentage. It's not an absolute thing. It's a percentage. So no matter how big or how smaller you are, you can still compare us to a county of any size. Okay, so because the tax rate is a percent, it doesn't matter what the size is. Okay. Now, as far as cutting spending, as I said, I think that because our home values will increase if we lower taxes, property taxes, I think we can still capture a lot of revenue just based on the appreciation in home values. But that being said, last year, the Citizens Budget Committee actually recommended a 1% straight line across the board cut in spending, and the county commission voted against it. So I think we could do that again easily. We could do probably a 2% cut across the board, and you wouldn't feel it. 2% is such a small amount that I think most agencies could, still getting a lot of comments there. So you could do that and not feel a lot of pain. Provide you 2% cut, and then let's say we lower our taxes by 5%. We're already at a point where we're making surpluses, so it would probably, I don't think we'd even be close to the point of getting to deficits in that. But yeah, no, the size of the county has no bearing on comparing ourselves. So thanks.
Okay, for Linda Bartz, same question. How would you make cuts without hurting people? Let's see, Linda, did we lose?
Sorry.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
So we are always looking at the budget and ways to cut. As I said before, we are still not at the revenue that we were getting in 2007. And we are still down staff. So we've learned to do more with less. We continue to look at those cuts where we can. When that budget committee that is made up of private citizens, there was not an absolute, and they didn't say where we should cut. So they didn't really give us the input that we needed. They're working on that. We've given them better direction. But we have a community where people demand special services. And that's part of what brings people here. So we will continue to work to make it better for people. We went through that, like I said, back when the recession hit in Port St. Lucie. We cut staff, we cut services, but we maintained the quality of life. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, do we have any more questions coming? We can, okay. We're ready now for closing statements, and the first is Chris Thompson.
Okay, so get this out of there. So we've heard some of the comments done tonight. As I said, the main things that we're running on is to lower our taxes. It's a huge problem, and it's been going on for a long time. It's not just the first year that we've had the highest tax rate in the state of Florida, highest property tax rate. It's been for several years, and it's been building up over time. Another problem with the spending, as I said earlier, Martin County is the second wealthiest county in the state. They spend about $2,000 per capita. We spend about $2,200 per capita, meaning they have the wherewithal to spend more, and they spend less than us even. We're not as wealthy a county, and we spend more per capita. There's no good reason for that. That's just waste. That's wasteful spending. We got to get that under control. And the surprising thing about that is out of $2,000 roughly that they spend per capita on spending of their budgets, about 700 of it goes to education. We spend 2,200, and only about 500 of that goes to education. So if you just compare non-education spending, we spend about $1,700 on non-education spending. Martin and Indian River spend about $1,300 on non-education spending. So if you just look at non-education spending, well, it's about 50% higher, or 40%, or roughly 40% higher than our neighboring counties. We are so out of whack with our neighboring counties on spending, on taxation, and we have to get that under control. It's happened over time. We're like the frog in the pot that over time, when you turn the heat on, if it goes slowly, you don't recognize it until you're in a situation like we are now, where we're the #1 highest tax county in the state of Florida. That's a problem. It discourages investments. I mean, you see it. I mean, only about 20% of the people who live in St. Lucie County work in St. Lucie County. That's different from our neighboring counties. Martin County and Indian River is roughly about 40%. Why are we only 20%? Because there's no business here. We have to go, a lot of our residents have to go to other counties like Palm Beach County and Martin County to work. That's a huge issue for me. We should be able to attract investment in our community, but as long as we have that albatross of being the highest tax county in the state, we are not going to attract investment. Thank you.
Okay, closing statement, Linda Bartz.
So I'm thinking about how easy it is to armchair quarterback on Monday mornings. When I was in Port St. Lucie City Council, we, not I, made decisions based on information that was accurate at the time, with the backing of the governor of Florida, other state leaders, and agencies. Our community was excited about the new path the city was taking and the type of economic growth we were experiencing at the time. The recession is not something any of us could have predicted. With the recession, property values plummeted over 50%, meaning that the city's revenues dropped. We laid off staff 2 years in a row, including 22 police officers, but we still needed to provide services to our residents. Here's a fact that can't be disputed. St. Lucie County in 2020 is still generating less revenue in ad valorem tax than it did in 2007. Property values are climbing, and that's a great thing, and we are able to reduce the millage rate without spending our reserves. We're in a good place financially, and far better now that we've replenished our reserves. Why are keeping reserves so important? If our county is hit with devastating storms, as in 2004 or a pandemic, we have to have money reserved to provide you with the services. Our millage is not the highest in the state. In fact, according to Florida Tax Watch, we are not even in the top 10. The bottom line on your trim notice is not a result of your county commission, but of many other governmental agencies, which we have no control over. I see that my time is up, so thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. And we want to thank both of the candidates, Linda Bartz and Christopher Thompson, for taking part tonight. And thank you very much for letting the voters of St. Lucie County get to know you and to know more about the issues. So thank you. Thank everyone who has watched, who is educating themselves, and certainly thank the League for developing all the questions. Andy?
Thank you, Carol, and thank you, candidates, and thank you, viewers, for watching this evening. We hope that you got some very good information that you can use when you're making your decisions at the ballot box in November, or if you choose to do it before that. If you choose to do it before that, if you are getting a mail-in ballot and you want to request it, you only have until October 24th to do so. We do recommend that you send it back at least 10 days ahead of November 3rd. It has to be at the supervisor's office by November 3rd. But if you're a little wary of the post office right now, that's okay. The Supervisor of Elections office is setting up secure ballot boxes around the county, including one in Lakewood Park. Check out vote411.org to learn more about the candidates and the 6 amendments that are on your ballot. The League is doing free education for the amendments. It's virtual. Check out our Facebook page, check out our website, and you'll find all of the information you need to there. And if you have an organization or a group that would like a private educational event, we'll do that for you as well. I think that's about it. Thank you all again for attending this evening and becoming very well educated voters. And we'll see you tomorrow night for Clerk of Circuit Court at 7 and the Mayor of Fort Pierce at 8:30. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.